We're come all the way to Valencia, Spain to talk about how crypto is used in the US. And my name is Thomas. I'm our head of customer happiness, and I'm here with April and Justin. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
My name is April, and I am our marketing manager over here at Bitrefill. Came over here from Los Angeles.
My name is Justin. I'm primarily a developer. I also like to build products, so I project manage.
You project manage, you build stuff, you tell people how to use it. So, we're here to have a conversation today about like how crypto is actually used in the US. And so I think that, in terms of like starting things off, like, would either of you want to like comment on some of the people that we see in the US between conferences or customers, and how they come to use crypto?
There's a lot of conferences, Bitcoin and crypto conferences in the United States, and we attend the majority of those. And just going and talking with people face to face, come to find that a lot of them actually use Bitrefill to get to the conference, whether it's purchasing a gift card with Delta and buying their flight through Bitrefill, or using Bitrefill for Airbnb or hotels.com. And even at East Denver, I was sitting at the table in the Zen lounge area, and there was a guy on his laptop next to me, and I had a Bitrefill sticker on my laptop, and he started talking to me, and he's like, I bought my laptop using Bitrefill on Amazon. So there's a good amount of use cases that I've run into just talking with people at conferences.
Yeah. Justin, you missed out on the Zen lounge. I feel like for everyone that hasn't had the opportunity to go to East Denver, like the Zen lounge, I would say, aside from the beautiful song and dance, like was probably the highlight, right?
It's very zen.
Very zen. Very
very
zen. Lots of tea drinking, lots of meditation, lots of bean bags, lots of bare feet, all that fun stuff. But yeah, I think that like in talking about like East Denver versus like a Bitcoin conference, like it's pretty interesting that there's many different types of people like in the US that are probably unique to if we were having this conversation about anywhere else, like Argentina or El Salvador. And like, I guess it's good to kind of maybe start there and like understand who the people are in the US and like why are they using crypto? Because you can point to maybe a different country and say like, oh well, they don't have the banking infrastructure to handle that, versus most of the people that we run into are making a conscious decision to use this technology for something. So I think it'd be maybe good to like talk a little bit about why people in the US are using it when we have some level of banking infrastructure.
Yeah, I think I can talk a bit about that. I mean, before I joined Bitrefill, when I was into holding Bitcoin and other assets, I didn't really see that many people use crypto. You go to meetups and they're mostly hodling, or they spend, but not so much. And when I joined Bitrefill, I got to see all these people purchasing refills from around the world, not just the US, and sort of see this other persona of people, and that of them actually using this or living on it because of their traveling or things like this. And then we added gift cards at some point, and then that's when things really hit it off, at least in the US, where for convenience, people were buying store gift cards, grocery stores, buying things online for e-commerce, and at least that's what I use it for. I wasn't really using refills unless I was traveling, but buying something online, I think most people can relate to that.
Yeah, definitely. I guess it's still like, I mean, Justin, you're the OG among us here for Bitrefill, and you just said like, you found Bitrefill because you were using crypto. Like maybe it'd be interesting to hear about like how both of you started using crypto or why.
Yeah, sure. My story, I think, is maybe a little different than most people's. It was actually the opposite of being a believer and being on board with it. So back in 2017, when the market was running, and the 20K bull market, I had friends hopping on board to purchase both Bitcoin and Ethereum and other altcoins as well. I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, what is this? What is this, like magic money? But I looked at it from a technical standpoint, since I had a background in finance and in trading, and I was looking at the chart and I was like, this is completely going to collapse. And that's when I got some friends together, and we actually, this was before BitMEX KYC. So we were going through BitMEX because you can only short through there or through Coinbase Pro at the time. And we actually, in 2018, started shorting Bitcoin quite heavily.
Okay.
So that's how I got involved in crypto. So quite opposite. But there came a point where I was like, well, what is this? Like, and then I started studying it on YouTube, watching as many videos as I could, read Satoshi's white paper. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is going to change the world. That's how I viewed it. And I was like, I need to get involved in this. And then that's when we started a trading startup out of Los Angeles, but startups are hard. So it ended up imploding. And then I was like, I need to be involved. And at the time was also working in agency marketing and affiliate marketing. And then that's when I was like, all right, I want to get rid of these, forego these, and I want to be involved in a startup very early. And then that's how I found Bitrefill. So
I appreciate your story arc, because it starts off with like, wow, this thing's going to collapse, so let me go work in crypto. So
yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Different
Obviously.
outcome.
All right.
So
what about you, Justin?
Hey, me is a long story.
Well, we got time.
I think it's actually been 10 years now since I started. I was in high school, and I found this online currency from the news. I think it was from Silk Road or Mt. Gox. Not Silk Road. There was some Senate hearings on that. And then I was researching, how does this work on a technical level, like economic level. I thought, how does this exist, and why is the price going down? So at that point, I'm like, I have to know more about this and understand how it works. I switched my major from poli-sci into computer science to better know it on a technical level, and to want to find a job in this at some point. But I started buying, and at least on my end, I wasn't spending right away. I was hodling. But as you want to get with the movement, you want it to grow. You want to encourage the spending. But it wasn't because I had to or needed to. It's just more of for the movement, at least. And I think gradually you sort of get into the flow of wanting to do this, or for convenience, you start seeing, maybe it's easier to be able to spend crypto in other countries or on Bitrefill. So that's kind of my story, where I found it just for fun, and learn from there, and sort of took over my life, maybe.
Yeah. Here we are, right? I do think it's like interesting that both of you, like, I'm sure that most of the U.S. has this like very similar story arc in terms of like interest from like something major happening in the news, whether it's like a price movement or Senate hearings or something along those lines. But then your actual conviction to do something was when the price went down. Not to make this little chat too like time dated, but I would say that we're probably in the middle of one of those corrections right now. And so I think it's kind of fascinating to see like maybe what kind of communities and what type of people are going to be born out of this type of correction. And like, I mean, and something in just like in travels and talking to the communities, or like some things that you see that you think are going to be resilient for the U.S. folks coming out of this?
Each cycle, a lot of the bad actors get shaken out, and we've seen quite a lot of that throughout this past year, of course.
You can name names.
Quite heavily publicized in the media. But with that too also comes just evolution and further adoption of the industry. Like even with Bitrefill, the amount of users that we're seeing is, you wouldn't expect this much given the heavy bear market that we're seeing, and we're still seeing thousands of transactions a day happening. So
yeah. What about you, Justin? Do you think because I mean, I think that's also something that's kind of fascinating, is that both of you have came in via Bitcoin, right? Or like, Justin, when you came in, it was pretty much just Bitcoin, right?
Well, the main one, yeah. There were other ones, but
there's some other amazing ones like Feathercoin,
and Dogecoin.
Right? Doge, yeah. I mean,
it's a gateway, I think. I think even Dogecoin got me more interested in Bitcoin. Once it launched and you see people mining on it, and as a learning experience. But I think one interesting I found with the bear market cycles has been the communities that have lasted past those bear markets. Like, the hodlers are the whole thing is it's waiting until a bull market, or just waiting forever.
Yeah.
And then you have the libertarians who are like, well, I mean, this is a tool. It doesn't matter what the price is, as long as it's being spread. And now we have what the DeFi folks, trading on separate from Bitcoin, Ether, and they're like making use of this technology to trade, and if it lasts and past this cycle, I mean, we'll see what else comes out. I mean, you have the NFT market, but I'm not so sure there. Maybe you guys have a better outlook on that and how that's going, and if that contributes, I guess, to our user base. Because I think the DeFi crowd at least does.
Yeah, no, and we'll see correlations between ETH wallet addresses that have also been using OpenSea through Bitrefill. So, say we have some NFT users within our user base.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think even just in that whole like Web3 crypto thing, we can even just see it with like the way people want to create their logins, right? With what we see in the payment methods where ERC20 transactions, like from a dollar volume perspective, does outpace our Bitcoin and Lightning transactions still, right? And then when we launched, login with Lightning and things like that, like versus logging in with MetaMask and ETH, like you do see a very different adoption or like an enthusiasm between those two things. So coming out of that, so like we do recognize like there's the hodlers for Bitcoin. There's a libertarian, thing for libertarian group for Bitcoin. There's also, I don't know. I think that people are just like the new generation of gold bugs. I think you would kind of say as hodlers as well too. But I do think that there's like almost this other segment of people that do truly treat it like a financial asset, but they might not be our customers. Like. The people that actually are our customers, the people that kind of see it as a tool, and yeah, I think it's kind of interesting on that.
And I think like just the passion behind the movement of it, like not just Bitcoin, but like in other tokens as well, and DeFi and NFT. Like I know NFT groups. Some of them are getting paid with ETH. DAOs are getting paid stable coins or whatever their token is. So yeah, a lot of people are living on crypto. Definitely not the majority of people, but there's a good amount of people who are doing it.
What do you like? I mean, both of you, I would say, are pretty well versed in this. Like, what do you think it's like to, or maybe you want to comment on what it's like to live on crypto in the U.S. and maybe why people would make that choice? Because, it does feel like we're like at the beginning of that cycle where it would have been like, when Netflix is still possibly shipping some DVDs, but now they have a streaming service, and people are like, I'd really love to cancel my Comcast bill because. Like this, isn't awesome, and so for me, it feels like a very much like we're still in the early adopter phase of this. But like for yourselves, what is it like, and like why living on crypto in the U.S.?
I mean, I think in my experience, it's you just get this special feeling where you're in control of most of your money. I rarely have any money in my bank. I think I'm dollar negative on.
You're short the dollar?
Exactly. I'm short. Like, if you were just to walk away, and I can just leave with everything. I'm not dependent on a bank. I mean, obviously, I still use a bank account, but like with Bitrefill, you, at least in the U.S., with our catalog, you can live on crypto. You can pay for your gas, shop online, and we used to be able to pay for your rent and credit cards, but that's gone away. But I mean. It makes it easy, at least. And for me, that's the most important part, where I'm the one that's in full control of my money. And anything that provides a tool for me to live on this or enables that, I think that's a plus. I mean,
I can second that. A lot of it is the control. Like, I don't want to be dependent on the banks. Like, why does it take 3 days or so to send an ACH when I can just send, Bitcoin or ETH in the same day? It's easy to live on crypto in the US if you know how to do it through Bitrefill. And there's enough product range, and especially with MasterCard, like go out and just have it in your Apple wallet, and then you can pay for dinner. And it's topped up with Bitcoin. So it's quite simple.
You might have to show me a demo for dinner tonight, so that way, you know, I
Yeah,
don't really know how
we'll
to
use
use
it in Spain, but yeah.
I think that's something that's kind of interesting, that both of you are talking about, like, well, the control of your, like the control of your own finances, of like bank optional, and it seems like for yourself, like, you know, a reason to do it is you kind of were talking about, like, almost like the finality of a transaction, of like, yeah, hey, we could all like Venmo some money around from each other, but like those are just, you know, more or less numbers moving around in a database, you know, that a single company
But also,
controls.
I have peace of mind knowing that I can look on either scan. I can see, okay, here is my transaction, or look on Block Explorer, say, this is my transaction. Like, it just gives me peace of mind, and I fully trust the blockchain. So
I think something about, like, you know, we probably see this, I mean, just with in between the customer interviews and like purchasing transactions, is that like traveling on crypto is actually relatively like an advantage versus, like, you know, we're here in Spain, we're US folks, and if you want to, like, instead of having to be subjected to a foreign country's like infrastructure, you can still, you know, use a lot of the services. And so I think it'd be interesting to hear about, like, since, you know, both of you, hey, I'm the boring one with kids at home. So, like, you know, something a little more exciting is like maybe sharing like some of how you guys have, you know, as people in the U.S. like traveling around, and maybe how like crypto has made that, you know, much more like, yeah, with Bitrefill as a tool, but maybe like with crypto as well too, like being an advantage, like a sneaky hack in life.
yeah.
If either of you would like to go for that.
If you want to
I mean,
take it,
I guess I can talk. I mean, we both travel
we
a lot.
both travel
I think.
a lot. Yeah.
And I mean, it's been pretty useful for me traveling, paying for flights through Bitrefill. I think I went to Argentina for a conference, and there I found it interesting because there the people were actually like depending on this to survive and convert their money. I mean, me, while I could have gone through Western Union or some other way, you know, I found a way to use my crypto to convert for cash, you know, or Bitrefill. We also have many products there as well. You know, the off-ramp opportunities are much better, I guess, with crypto, and it's sort of like second nature there to sort of use that. I mean, I don't know. What about on you?
Yeah, and saving money on fees. Like if you're to convert, you know, dollars to euro, you're going to have to pay a fee to do that, whereas I don't have to worry about that with my crypto. But then also, you know, depending on which credit card you have, but my Bank of America, every time I run a transaction in Europe or outside the States, I'm getting charged an international fee. And I don't have to worry about that when I'm using Bitcoin and Bitrefill. So.
Right. You're in control of your own like exchange rate. Like,
exactly, yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had to, you know, we're in a country on the euro, and I haven't had to touch euros once, like, while being here, or like really change anything about the way that I'm doing stuff. And so it's almost like it kind of is like that unlock of making your own like bank account, or, you know, what would be your bank account, but your actual like crypto or Bitcoin, like very borderless, you know, like it doesn't matter, like, versus if you were trying to do that from Bank of America or Wells Fargo or credit, you know, local credit union or whatever, like it would be a very, you know, it was a pretty rough experience to try to, or a pretty rough experience just from both convenience, but also like fees, like trying to withdraw your Bank of America money at an ATM in Spain for the most part, right? So, yeah.
But I think on my end, what I've saw is meeting customers or meeting people that depend more on crypto. It's sort of like an enlightening moment for me, at least, because we have backups. You know, we don't need to depend on just crypto, but there are others that actually just have to depend on crypto. And when they see a product like Bitrefill that offers products in many countries, like the U.S., and they come from a country where they can barely get a credit card. And even if they get a credit card, it may not work in other countries. They can still use their crypto and spend and buy things, say, in the U.S. if they go visit, or some other country. And we actually empower them to do that.
I think that's something that, like, I'm gathering from everyone, like both of you here, of like how you guys not being so dependent on your banks has like freed you up to travel, to meet people. I mean, I think that's something that's probably like, you know, we all ended up at Bitrefill because we believe that crypto is a tool. And I think that that's actually something that has really opened my mind about just like in meeting everyone that works at this remote company and like seeing how and why crypto is important, even, depending on where they live and like how that enables them.
I mean, the same thing is true in other countries like in Mexico or, what's happening in Argentina. You're seeing the inflation, you're seeing debasement. Like it's not so crazy to think it could happen in the U.S.
Yeah, Justin, do you think that there's anything, a lot of what we're talking about is like negative, do you think that there's anything that's like going to be a really positive catalyst for crypto adoption in the U.S.?
I mean, I think it's just driving people toward other alternatives. Well, back then Bitcoin could be the digital gold, but you're not seeing sort of the trading or happening on Bitcoin. You're seeing that happening on Ether and other ones like lending, trading, and that and with all the protocols that are being built, you're seeing people getting paid in these tokens or stable coins. And then these are the ones that are like the true believers because they're also actually participating. They're spending natively in crypto, and they're probably one of our most valuable customers, I think, now. Mm-hmm. And that's probably going to drive it. Maybe not. I'm not sure the banks. I mean, it'd be too late. Maybe. Hopefully not. But
yeah, I think that the positive thing is like, both things can be true, and like I know that we're seeing this like even from our customers of the sunny old like yeah the previous legacy state might be a little dark and dreary, but the what's possible from these financial freedom technologies that are being built, leading to better outcomes, like the stories that we hear from like NFT artists, where like on the music NFTs, where it used to take them an obscene amount of a following and streams on Spotify to get to like a certain income level, but I think, April, you probably have a little bit or both of you probably have a bit to comment on this, but like I know that like in talking to a few examples of musical artists, that they just need their true fans to spend that music NFT to way more money or to like support them, and it's not even like but to like support themselves and to like be compensated fairly for the product that they're doing. So
yeah, they're getting what they're worth back as opposed to the standard now, but I guess like the standard would be through Spotify, right? And they're getting what's the percentage they end up getting? I can't remember, but it's tiny compared to what they're earning from the community and through the decentralization of it, essentially. But yeah, community is huge when it comes to like NFTs and DAOs and just every. I think we're moving towards a more decentralized world is what I'm trying to get at. And then people are getting what they're worth, and it's fueling that passion and that growth of it as well. And I think in turn fueling the adoption of people realizing that, oh, crypto really is a tool to be able to spend, because even, we're referencing market cycles, and back in 2017, 2018, it was pretty rare to hear someone getting paid in crypto or in Bitcoin. And now you go to conferences and you hear about it quite much more often. It's quite common. Yeah. So, and people need a place to spend it.
Right.
So.
I think that, what both of you are talking about, like in the DeFi example, or the NFT example, is like the more people cut out like that middle person, decentralize it, like and give people like kind of the agency to do that. I mean, we even see this with some of our own suppliers, right? Like that the U.S. banking system hasn't, from banks failing and people being like, oh, now I have to open a new account, or just like the infrastructure not necessarily wanting to serve crypto. I mean, we're at an all-time high for a lot of our suppliers wanting to accept stable coins because it's so much easier to get paid from an international company, like that they can actually get U.S. dollars, at the end of it versus, I think that's, maybe the finance department can check me on this, but like that we're having more and more suppliers every single day realize that like this is an actual, tool that you would say like, yeah, I guess I can meander off and keep talking on that
Yeah.
front. But
Well,
what
it's
do you
just less
like?
hoops to jump through too. Like the banks are just so slow. It's like, oh my gosh.
Like, I mean, what do you guys think that like we could do at Bitrefill to make it even easier to, to improve the experience of living on crypto and enable people to like really use these financial freedom tools?
At least for me, when I travel, one of the, not the most difficult, but most annoying things is when you try to get a new SIM card and you're going to one of the stores and they don't speak your language. And, if we offer these new eSIMs with data packages, you can just buy it on Bitrefill instantly and have it on your phone ready for when you're traveling. I think that's powerful.
Yeah, you don't even have to talk to anyone. No.
Yeah, Bitrefill, the power to not have to talk to anybody.
Yeah. You don't even
If you
need
want
us.
to.
You don't even need us. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then I think that's something that's like always like pretty interesting is like April. You commented on this and Justin. I mean, you're the team that's building this and I'm the one that gets everyone's requests about like, hey, can you support Arbitrum, Optimism, Binance Smart Chain, other things. And I think that we see this just in the customer requests and like expanding choice for our customers about what, maybe what's on the horizon that would make it, expand the number of folks that can use Bitrefill.
Yeah, where it's adding on, like with the Li-Fi integration, adding on thousands of new chains for users to be able to use with us. And what that does, especially from a marketing perspective, is give us much more awareness, because a lot of times, not a lot, but I've had a handful of times of people come up to me at conferences that aren't Bitcoin conferences and say, "Oh, Bitrefill, I thought you were only a Bitcoin company." I thought, and say, "No, we accept Ethereum, we accept multiple stable coins, and then, adding on more of these chains as well will give us the opportunity to expand our market and our user base."
Yeah, I think we saw early on that stablecoins, once we started adding it, has been taking a bigger pie of the market share, because people prefer, or at least some for the people that spend, they prefer to spend stablecoins. And, it's very time consuming to add a token or network manually each time. And I mean, we put in the effort there and the work there. We've done it with Polygon, with Tron, and a few other chains. But I mean, with this new integration, Li-Fi, we'll support more than 6,000 tokens. So you'll be able to pay and, live on crypto using Bitrefill.
Right.
With that.
I mean, it's not even just like the tokens. It's even
The
if you're like a USDC and ETH user, but you use like ETH mainnet and you also use Arbitrum or whatever, layer 2 of your choice, like, if for some reason gas fees are high on Ethereum, you don't subject yourself to that. So,
More options to the user.
Yeah, definitely more options to the user.